for our final part before the breakouts, I'm honored to introduce our three next guests. Focko Vijzelaar, Ronald Verbeek en Emily Glastra.
Let me tell you, because this is the part of the, you're going to give a pitch, but we call this a State of the Union, because you're our top tech leaders. Focko, I will end with you. But first, let me introduce Emily Glastra, Chairwoman of the Board at NL Digital and Managing Director at T-Systems. Emily, welcome with us. Ronald Verbeek is Chairman of the CIO Platform Netherlands. And, of course, Focko Vijzelaar, Managing Director at VNO-NCW. Each of you prepared a short State of the Union. A pitch, 2 minutes max. After that, we can ask some questions. Good luck, the three of you. Focko.
Thank you, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to the CIOs today. I think you are key players in the challenges that we have in the economy and society in the Netherlands and in Europe at large. And the three challenges are, first of all, the aging of population. If you look at the aging of population, it means that we have a labor shortage to come, which threatens our welfare state. And if there is no productivity growth, there will be a real massive problem in the economy and society at large. And there, obviously, digitalization is a key to attack the productivity problems we have. And we have to return to productivity growth as we have seen in the 70s, of 1.5% per year. And this is a major challenge, and you are key players in that. The second challenge we have is competitiveness. You have all heard of the Draghi report. That's a problem of Europe. We have no key players, or at least not so much key players in the key technological areas, and we have to step up there. And again, digitalization and the use of digitalization in different sectors is key. Again, you are key players. The third problem we have is the problem of security. Because we have a geopolitical situation, and even this morning it was in the news, the hybrid attack, possibly on a cable from Finland to Germany. It shows that security and the hybrid attacks are real at this moment in time. And again, to be safe, we need cybersecurity, we need you to address these type of problems. So we need a safe, a productive and a competitive economy and society. And that's why I am here, and that's why I'm addressing you as key players in the societal challenges we have. Thank you.
Yes, and from my side, the CIO Platform Nederland, the CIO community in the Netherlands, these resonate, of course. The productivity challenges lay, amongst others, in attracting and retaining enough talent to work in data and tech within our companies. So we need to find solutions for that. AI may be one of them, but there are obviously more needed there. Second, on the competitive side, I think the major dependence that we have on technology providers, and there are only a few of them that are really big and important, also offer challenges in the resilience that we have towards these geopolitical changes that we are facing. So we need to revisit that. And I think interoperability and new European collaboration on solutions may be one of the answers there. And that's one of the things I call out to you today to start embracing that idea. Last thing, the legislative arena that we are facing. There's a lot of new legislation on the board offering opportunities for more interaction also. You have to rethink your your productivity, your solutions. And because of the blurring of the distinction between supply and the demand side in the legislative positions, that's also a possibility to start working together more closely, especially also within the European sphere. So reach out to each other, embrace each other, and work on a new and positive European future in this space, I think.
So if we really talk about productivity, competitiveness, and resilience, I didn't feel that productive this morning when I was in this huge traffic jam. So I was really thinking about these topics that we prepared, like how productive are we actually? because it's all about changing as well our behaviors. So I think the culture aspect is always an important one that we need to add to everything that we try to do when it comes to change. So going back to that productivity, we are here more with a technical audience. I always try to make the connection to what it really means to our daily lives. So what we always try to do from an, I would say, association perspective is looking what does the productivity really mean to us? So think about scenarios where we can really elevate it to, for example, using all the technology to make the life of a nurse far more easy by simultaneously monitoring the systems. So when we're in the hospital, they can do so many multiple tasks. How can we make it even more real? When it comes to competitiveness, and when it comes to stuff that we might not always have in Europe, we do have a lot of great stuff here. So we have a founding Gaia X, Catena X, to do interoperability between all of the chains that we work in. How can we make that even bigger with the parties that are here, with vendors, with suppliers, but also with you as the users of all of that technology? I think it's a very important competitive advantage that we have in Europe, and using the regulations in the right way. And the third one, when it comes to resilience and cyber, that is all also about us as people. Educate our people, educate our citizens in using technology in a safe way, understanding that it's really us usually causing all of these cyber attacks, right? It's always a lot of the people that is impacted to it. And also there you see, I would say, the potential and importance of the public and private partnership with the National Cybersecurity Center and the public domain and also commercial companies to make that work. So yes, we do have a lot of challenges, but we also have a lot of great stuff that we can use if we work and continue to work in the ecosystem that we have here.
Thank you very much. Please join us at center stage, because we will ask you some questions, and after the questions we will explain to you how CIODAY moves on. Emily, let me start with you. In your presentation, I just heard some things about the competitive advantage that we have as Europe. We see that Europe is constantly under threat by countries in the Far East, for example. You mentioned the National Cybersecurity Center. Our competitive advantage, how long can we keep it up?
Well, I think with that in a certain way we are already doing that. I think if I look, for example, also here on this stage today, how we collaborate between profit, non-profit, but also in the ecosystem, I think we can even make the next step in creating that advantage. So I think that we also can have a look at what we are already doing well and make that even bigger.
Yes, so the chances, the future for Europe is looking bright, is good.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Hopefully you're right, Ronald. You also talked about European collaboration, and that's that's really interesting. You mentioned the Cyber Act, the NIS2, the NIS2. There's a lot of countries, like the United States of America, they don't have a Cyber Act like we have in Europe, and that gives them maybe a competitive advantage because they have a lot more room for experiencing with things like AI.
Well, I think those are different things, perhaps. Looking at the NIS2, I think one of the main challenges we have with this new regulation is making sure that we efficiently put it into practice in Europe, in the Netherlands, first of all. And I think that also illustrates where supply and demand are coming together, because we are in a public-private partnership with VNO and NL Digital and several other associations, but also with the ministries involved, to actually bring together both the questions that are out there within your communities and bringing them to the table, to the ministry, to efficiently make that work in practice.
Because the European legislation has to be translated to Dutch legislation, and that's what you're doing with all the partners. VNO and CIODAY is, of course, involved, because you represent all the employers of the Netherlands. You had a few challenges you mentioned about the aging population, about security, for example. I just asked Emily, our competitive advantage. Do you see, how do you say, bears on the road? What are the hiccups that we're facing, maybe with our current government? What do you expect from them? Well, to ensure that we will survive, that we will manage.
Yeah, there's all reason to be optimistic, actually. If you look at the Draghi report, Draghi mentions digitalization as one of the key issues where Europe still has a competitive edge, and where when we use it in different sectors, we can really maintain a competitive edge in those sectors or increase it. But when it comes to a challenge, I would say one of the challenges is that we have a few homegrown digital companies, and especially in the Netherlands, we have also big homegrown companies.
Like ASML, for example.
Like ASML, but also like Booking, like Arjen, and like others. These type of companies, we need more in Europe. And in that respect, we really now have to digest the legislation that we got upon us in the last legislature of the Commission, and now we have to make that productive and competitive.
Yeah. But when you look at those companies, those diamonds we've got in the Netherlands, apart from ASML, you mentioned Agen and Booking.com. Especially Booking is saying around AI in the States, in Asia, they have great AI tools in place now, but they say we don't launch it for Europe because we're not allowed. So
that's what I mentioned. We have to digest the legislation and we have to make it productive. And when it is needed to redress the situation, we should do it. And we also have a commission now, a European Commission, that really is fueled by the competitiveness report and by the competitiveness idea. So there is all...
There's all reason for hope and optimism.
For being optimistic.
That's great to hear. And what you're saying is the new members of the European Commission, they know how digitalization is a driver and enabler for Europe to have growth, also economically, but also socially, of course, in the future.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Give them one big last round of applause. Focke Wijselaar, Ronald Verbeek, and Emily Glastra.
Thank you very much.